Our first caller is Steve from the Netherlands.
Steve, what's up, man? How can we help you?
Hey guys! Oh my God, I can't believe it's you guys.
Hey, what's happening? How
I've
can we
been
help
listening
you?
to you. I've been listening to you guys like since Queequeg times, man. Like,
Wow.
the good old days. And geez, this is crazy to see you guys here. So yeah, obviously, gotta thank you guys. We're gonna keep that part short because I know your time is valuable. But like, you guys have helped me through so many things over the years, and also mentally now because this thing is about burnout that I'm about to ask you. And I've been actually listening to you guys more for the fun of it than actually, like getting towards a workout. And now it's time for me to get back into it. And that's kind of what my questions are going to be about. So little background information for me. So I've been lifting for about 12 years, kind of shifting between hypertrophy and strength. Obviously, the first 3 years were just screwing around with dumbbells and whatnot and just doing whatever, but getting continuously better with the help of you guys as well. In the meantime, the last 3 years, I worked as a group instructor and a manager for a gym that did reformer and boxing classes. So yeah, obviously knowing that wasn't the most optimal way for people to kind of like build muscle and stuff like that, it was still a great way for people to stay fit, including myself. But after that, yeah, I got into a burnout, a really, really severe one. Also, a little piece of side information: when I was 21, I spontaneously contracted a hernia on the left side. So I walked with a limp for about a year or so. So from that came that my left side actually got weaker and remained weaker than my right side. This is also just due to ignorance and not wanting to let go of my compound lifts and just kind of working through it. But it's been also, it gave me some, injuries over time, which I also have to really kind of consider now. And I've been dealing with like inflammation on the right shoulder, and just in general, like my right shoulder is just inflamed and it just doesn't feel right. My left shoulder is a lot more mobile, and my right shoulder is always super tight, which I notice a lot during the bench press. So yeah, that's kind of like the background information. And the question would be, first of all, considering the information that you guys have, and knowing that I've been burned out for about I'd say it's been about a year ago. So I've been slowly, gradually working my way to the gym again to just start, to just kind of work out for a little bit. But like, how do I go from here? What's your advice on that? Like, how do I get back into it? And not only back into it, but like better than ever, working out that shoulder, working out the instability in my body, and also the mental aspect of getting back into it.
Yeah, we have to deal with the burnout first, so I need more details on that. When you say burnout, what are the signs and symptoms of that?
Yeah, so well, it was severe in a way that the first 3 months for me were just kind of like disassociated from life. Like I was working through a burnout for already half a year. Like that's what my doctor told me, considering the symptoms that I had been having, which were like severe fatigue and that kind of stuff. So, but it happened in November. Actually literally a year ago, that's when I called in sick. And that's when the burnout was really became a thing. And yeah, in that period of time, it was nearly impossible for me to even get out of bed. It was pretty crazy, and I had to work through a lot of psychological stuff, which I have been doing. So I feel a million times better than I did at that point. The biggest challenge for me right now is my physical shape, because like for a year to not have properly worked out, to have been very sedentary, to like have gone also through a lot of mental stress, which is obviously also causing a lot of damage to the body or, needs more recovery. So I just noticed like I'm super out of shape, which is really kind of messing with how I used to think and how I used to be. And this is kind of why I'm at a loss, because I feel like I want to just kind of jump right back into it. But I also kind of feel like that's not the way to go.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't do that. But what contributes, because what you're saying,
depression.
Yeah, it sounded like you got into some pretty deep depression, maybe some anxiety. What contributed to that? So I'm going to guess you just worked out a lot, maybe didn't get good sleep, but were there other life stressors happening at the time? Like what were the factors that you've identified that contributed to the shutdown of your body?
Right. Okay. Yeah. So that would be just like overworking like crazy, which originated really, now that I've gone through a lot of like therapy and stuff like that, originated from my youth, which kind of, like without going too deeply into detail about that, but it really turned me into this crazy people pleaser without any boundaries or limits.
Okay.
Also towards myself, so I'm also the type of person that tends to overtrain, like, and then really up to a point where my body just kind of like gets super inflamed or super injured just because I wanted to squeeze out that last rep or do that extra set. Obviously, knowing now, especially this year, listening to your podcast and hearing you guys saying over and over and over again, like, more is not better. More is usually worse. Hit the sweet spot, do what's right for you. And I found that this is the ultimate time, like the perfect time to actually start listening to that advice and do it right from here on,
Yeah, no, that's excellent. I'm glad you're here. So there's an order of operation in this particular situation. And the first thing that needs to be addressed is your mental health. Okay. So, because if that doesn't get addressed, by the way, exercise, diet, sleep, lifestyle, addresses, if done right, is so effective to improve your mental health. If you don't address that, then going after muscle gain and fat loss and performance, it's not going to work. You're either going to burn out again, or you're just going to be stuck in the same place and find yourself very frustrated. Now, here's the silver lining. Addressing the mental health aspect with exercise, diet, sleep, and lifestyle will also simultaneously build some muscle and burn some body fat and improve your health and fitness. So generally speaking, Steve, I want you to approach, because fitness and all the things that encompass health, or all the things that we know as fitness professionals that we can do to improve someone's health, they can be molded, shaped, and modified. I mean, almost in infinite different amount of ways. Like you can do it to push endurance or strength, or in your case, help with your mental state. So generally speaking, you're going to have to work out and be active and eat and sleep and live in a way to improve your mental fitness. So what does that look like? Probably going to be walks. You're probably going to do some walks where you find yourself being present. You're probably going to do some strength training, but not much, maybe a couple days a week. In the gym, when you're doing the strength training, the idea is you mentioned that you got disassociative, okay? So what I would do with the strength training can be an incredibly valuable tool to put yourself in your body. It could also be a way to get out of your body, right? So you can go to the gym and beat the crap out of yourself and and really disassociate even more, right? So what I would want you to do is go to the gym 1 or 2 days a week. Now, this is how you're going to start, and just feel the full range of motion. Feel the movement, feel the body, feel good. Your goal isn't to push, the initial goal is not to push performance. Remember though, the performance and all the other stuff is going to follow along if you do this the right way. So when you go to the gym, it's literally, okay, I'm going to do 4 or 5 exercises. I'm going to focus on connecting through the movement. So as I'm doing the squat, for example, I want to feel the bar. I want to breathe through the movement. I want to feel my body feel good, go through a nice range of motion. The intensity is moderate at most, and that's it. And you're going to pick movements that allow you to feel most of your body. So squatting, deadlifting, overhead pressing, rowing, bench pressing, and then, priming, stretching, where you're really in your body, you're really trying to feel your body. That's how I would start. As far as diet is concerned, the top of the priority is going to be easily digestible foods. Okay. Because when you're talking about the gut brain axis, what we want to do is minimize inflammation. So, high protein is great for goals. Okay. But if you get past a certain point, you notice that it's causing digestive issues, then back off. It's okay to sacrifice that for digestion. So everything that you eat, I want you to really think like, is this a really easy meal for me to digest? How am I going to feel afterwards? So you should feel very light. It should put very little stress on your body. So this may look like, gluten-free grains, proteins that are easily digestible for you. So for some people, that's beef. Other people, it's fish. Other people, it's chicken. Well-cooked, very well-cooked, boiled vegetables to the point where it's like almost like a soup, very easy to digest. And then just don't worry about the strength, the fat, the muscle. That will follow, but don't pay attention to it. I know that sounds funny, but don't pay attention to it. Pay attention on improving your mental health. And then the walks, like when you're walking, pick walks where you enjoy the scenery. Maybe it's a neighborhood you really like, or it's a place where you can look at, greenery or something that you feel like you can enjoy. And on those walks, allow yourself to be present. You would be surprised how quickly your body will rebound if you approach it this way. Otherwise, it'll take a long time. So that's it. Just literally, generally speaking, all your attempts should be to improving your mental health with the tools that you know how to use.
Yeah, I actually like MAP suspension, and my reasoning for that is a lot of the closed chain movement, and to be able to like feel your way through a lot of exercise, like Sal was describing. And if intensity has always been, the issue and overdoing it, to be able to go through that full range of motion and just pay attention to all those little nuances where your body gets thrown off course, and you need to stabilize and you need to control with your core. And in terms of like really feeling your way through and being able to, get in your body and to be able to have that mind muscle connection, I think that's a pretty good place to start if you've been off, your plan for, would you say, a year or something like that? So, for me, that would be my suggestions to kind of throw that in there.
So I want to address some of the things that you didn't say, but that were up on your question that I'm looking at right now. I agree with Justin. I really like MAP suspension for where you're at right now. Plus, I think that it addresses some of the mobility, shoulder instability stuff that you're talking about. Mm-hmm. So I think that will help support that. So I'm on board with that. You asked questions about cutting or bulking right now. To Sal's point, I wouldn't worry about trying to do either or. It would be just to feed your body when you're hungry, eat whole foods. That would be the advice right now. Like you're trying to take care of yourself. You're not trying to make moves with your physique yet right now. So cardio, you asked a question about that. Also, I'd say drop that. You're not paying attention to that. Walking would be your form of cardio, like Sal was saying. Body dysmorphia for most all your life. I mean, this is really important. Whenever we talk to anybody that has dealt with this is where the weighing and measuring and tracking the food and the scale and the mirror and all that stuff like that is not a healthy way to start your journey. So all those things are going out the window for me. I don't care about the scale weight. I don't want you getting hung up on exactly which. It's like literally, to Sal's point of going in there, feeling your body, feeling good. Your measure of success is how you're feeling. Or do you have are you positive? Are you getting good sleep? Is work going well for you? Are you getting up and feeling energized? Do you have sustained energy throughout the day? Do you feel tight and strong? Do you feel mobile? Like these are the things that you're thinking about throughout the day, and then we'll build upon that. I think after suspension, either a MAPS anabolic or a MAPS symmetry is probably the direction I'd go. But I like that as far as advice.
Yeah, that's a good one. And two other things I'll add, Steve. Make sure you go to bed at the same time and you wake up at the same time every day. Really prioritize sleep. That's the most impactful recovery thing you're going to do is get good sleep. Okay. So, like an hour before, prepare yourself for sleep, go to this bed at the same time, wake up at the same time. And then you're also in the Netherlands. So if you haven't had your vitamin D levels checked, I would get them checked just to see if your vitamin D levels are low. I'll guess they're probably not optimal. The only way to know is to get them checked. And if you suspect that they're low, then I would supplement with a good vitamin D3 supplement. And then there are other supplements that can help with your body's ability to adapt to stress or recover from stress. Ashwagandha is one of my favorites. Most people respond really well to that. Go ahead.
Yeah, actually, I did order ashwagandha on your behalf, because you guys have talked about that many times. And I found also that because of a friend of mine who has ADHD, I found out I have ADHD as well, and tends to help with that kind of stuff a lot too. I think everything that you guys are saying is making a lot of sense. It is something that had been popping into my mind, like, okay, maybe it's time for like that kind of approach to really drive it back to the base level first. And I'm actually quite happy for you guys to kind of confirm that. And also the working through the range of motion, because that has been a hard thing for me. And as you're saying, like, you can also disassociate in the gym, like, even though you're supposed to be getting into your body, for me, usually it would be a way to mentally get my frustration or anything out there. And then kind of not really paying attention to how I'm doing the exercise. And that would usually screw me up, so that's really great advice. I'm definitely going to pick up on that.
Yeah.
The ashwagandha, that's a good one. I usually also take magnesium, but like the good kind, because I know a lot of magnesium is not taken up in the blood if it's like a bad supplement.
Yeah. And look into the vitamin D, Steve. Make sure, because being in the Netherlands and you look like you have more of an olive complexion. You might be deficient, in D or low, and that'll really
it's
make
pretty common out there. Yeah,
that'll make things really hard. The last thing I'm going to add is, Adam said, don't track, don't weigh, don't try and focus on muscle gain and fat loss. It's okay. This is where the trust is going to have to come into play. It will progress. This is the irony of what we're talking about. You will progress in those things if you don't look at them. Okay, if you look at them, they're not going to progress. So remind yourself of that. Like when you get that itch, like, oh, like, am I progressing? I want to flex in the mirror. I want to measure my arm. I want to weigh myself. I want to, get whatever. Remember, like, it's only going to improve if you don't look at it. Literally, like, I got to not look at it, and then I got to trust that it will improve. Now I'm going to tell you that you're probably 90 days out from feeling way different. So, the question I have for you is, do you think you could tough this out for 90 days? Can you do this for 3 months?
Yeah. I mean, that's the whole thing, right? Like, after having this burnout, it's kind of like, well, I survived this, so it's not like it's going to be a massive challenge for me to do it this way. Is probably going to be easier for me than how I used to do it, because I think how I used to do it was ironically a way to sustain myself physically, to stay fit enough to do what I was doing, and at the same time I was destroying myself, because it was a way of, like, it wasn't a it wasn't a sustainable way for me to go about working out, because I used to work out 5 days a week, but I probably shouldn't have done that, considering I was already mentally completely burned out, so. Well,
Steve, we're going to send you MAP suspension, but here's what I want you to do. I'm going to give you 90 days. I want you to contact who you emailed to get on the show, and I want to do a follow-up with you. Okay. So I want you I want to follow up with you about 60 to 90 days out, so we can check in on you and see how you're doing, maybe help you stay kind of on track, because you're going to talk to us. So let's do that, but we'll send you MAP suspension for now.
Dude, that'd be amazing, man. Like, because I need to kick it. Like, I need some kind of accountability for this one.
Yeah, I figured. I thought it would probably be a good idea. So, and I'd love to follow up. I'd love to see where you're at in about 60 to 90 days. So let's do that.
Oh shit! Damn, that'd be awesome, guys. Thank you so much.
You got it, man.
Steve.
All right,
Thank
Steve.
you.
Take care, man.
Yeah. All right, you guys take care. You guys have fun, and man, keep doing what you do, because you guys are saving lives, man.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, cheers.
You know what this reminds me of? As I was talking to him, do you remember in Super Mario Brothers where you're in the haunted house and there's those ghosts, and they only come after you when you don't look at them?
Don't look at them. Yeah.
If you look at them, they freeze. Literally.
What reminded you of that?
Of what we were talking about, like, don't focus on the scale, don't focus on the, because I've been there. And when you start to focus on it, then it stops happening. You literally have to not look at it. You have to, like, not look at it, focus on health, focus on health, focus on health. And then, a year later you look and you go, oh crap, like all that happened. That's so crazy. But the second you focus on it, then things go out the window because you start doing things to fuel the aesthetic drive or the body dysmorphia.
Yeah, a good goal for him. I mean, the program should last about that long, right? So a good goal for him is to just not even check until the end of it, right? So I think if you have something in mind, like, I mean, at least I'm better that way. Like if I'm like, okay, I'm not going to do any of the weight, scale, measure, body fat, none of that stuff until the end of this program. All I gotta do is focus on what the guys said, and then afterwards I'll check in.
Yeah.
I think that he'll be all right. So hopefully he reaches back out, and we'll see how he does.